to our channel. Currently I'm sitting in my son's bedroom, about to be my son's, plural, in like literally 2 months from the time that I'm filming this, which is very crazy to think about. There will be 2 of them, and then I have a daughter. So if you are new around here, I am very pregnant. I'm very pregnant. I'm due at the end of January. At the time of filming this, it's actually November. It's like really close to Thanksgiving. I'm filming this ahead of time because Lord knows I probably won't be able to keep up with Vlogmas like I want to. I want so bad to have a video for 25 days of Christmas, and I don't know if I'm actually gonna be able to make it, but we'll see. But I'm currently in here because it's the cleanest room in my house because I've been working in here trying to get it like put together since the boys will share a bedroom. And so we got my 3-year-old son set up a few weeks ago. I still don't have anything on the walls yet, but I have things to put on the walls. I just haven't put them on the walls yet. And I keep going through like these seasons where I'll come in here and like want to work in here, but I'm still like, Christmas is like the next thing, and then I'll have a few weeks hopefully between Christmas and when the baby actually is born. So I'm trying to mostly focus on Christmas right now and not worry so much about this bedroom until after Christmas, and then I can like order anything else that I might need so I can get it totally finished, because I know it's not like a necessary thing to have to finish a baby room. Obviously he's going to be in our bedroom for a while, but I just am the type of person that wants it done by the time the baby gets here, at least mostly done. So anywho, what was even the point of this video? Originally I was going to make this video about cooking tips for, that was like what I have written down was like cooking tips that every homemaker should know, especially when it comes to like if you're hosting for the holidays for the first time. And now I'm changing it to just like, I'm just going to talk about hosting for the holidays for the first time, because I decided to turn the other thing into a blog post, because I don't know, some people might want to watch it as a video, but if it was me and I was like actually trying to retain the information, I'd rather just read it and have like the resource to come back to. So if you're interested in learning a whole bunch of random tips about cooking and how to be a better cook as a homemaker, and like things that every homemaker should know in the kitchen, in my opinion, then there will be a blog post linked down in the description that you can go check out. But yeah, I figured I would just talk more generally in this video, because I just, doing it, the other thing on a video, I have to think about it too much, and I'd rather just write it down and not have to like read off of the list, because there's no way I'd be able to just like off the top of my head start like spurting out that information. I'd have to like think about it or read off of something. So anywho, that was a lot of jib-jabbing. But yeah, this is kind of just like a chatty video while I get some stuff done around the house. Honestly, I feel like that's going to be most of my content right now, because I just brain capacity lately. Let me tell you about this week. If you don't follow me on social media, the past couple of weeks have been a little crazy. I went through this really good season, or like month of pregnancy, and where I felt really good and I had like energy and motivation to do things, and I was like crushing it. And then literally it felt like the very next week our whole world fell apart. My husband got like pretty sick, which is not usual for him. Like usually he hardly gets sick ever, but he was like down for the count for an entire week, which completely threw me off, because having him home every single day just like is so not normal. I'm so used to him working long days, so having him like here all day every day for like, I don't know, 5 days straight was just weird. So that really threw me off. And then I was like also progressively getting more and more uncomfortable pregnancy wise, and I feel like it's so early for me because of my last 2 pregnancies. I don't know, like I have relatively easy pregnancies, generally speaking anyways. I feel like I didn't really get like super uncomfortable until like the last couple of weeks. So to be this uncomfortable and like tired and all the things with still basically 2 months left is like kind of kicking my butt a little bit. And I don't know if it's just because like I'm a mom of 2 toddlers, and so I'm just more exhausted because I'm moving around more, and that's probably part of it. Or I don't know if this was just a different experience just because every pregnancy is different. I really have no idea. So tired, out of breath all the time. I've been having these like, I guess, contractions I guess I would call them Braxton Hicks, but I don't really know. It's funny, like I can never remember like what a contraction feels like until I have like an actual contraction, and then I'm like, oh yeah, that's what that feels like. I think they're like sort of contractions sometimes, but I also think it's just like my body preparing for childbirth, because I'm having like a lot of tightness in my stomach. And it's so uncomfortable, and like I've had like really sharp pains and stuff, and then it'll like go away, and then it'll come back, and then it'll go away. So obviously discussing all these things with my doctor, and it's just like, oh my gosh, making it so hard to do anything. And so yeah, I'm very uncomfy, very much ready to have a baby, but obviously don't want him to come too early. So here we are. And I think just with like the holidays coming up too, that's just like an added stress, and I'm really trying not to like be stressed. I've actually been doing really good with being on top of my Christmas gift shopping, because usually I am a last minute on everything and I don't get gifts until literally like the middle of December, because I just never know like what to get. And I've actually been like super on it, and I'm like almost done with my own kids, and then I just need to and I'm almost done with my husband, and then I just need to get like friends and like my parents and in-laws and things like that some gifts, and then yeah, I feel like I'm pretty prepared in that realm, which is cool. But yeah, I'm really trying not to stress myself out. We do have, we're going to be hosting Christmas here because it's so close to the baby being born. Like, and I love hosting anyway. Like, I love having people come to our house and like be here and enjoy the kids, like the little kids on Christmas and things like that. So my in-laws will be coming during actual Christmas, and my parents are going to come up like the week before Christmas or the weekend before, and then we'll celebrate early with them. So the kids can kind of get like two different experiences with two different sets of grandparents. So that'll be super fun. I know they're going to love that. But we're hosting for both of those. I still need to figure out like what in the heck we're going to make food-wise. I have the meat for like actual Christmas, but that's about it. We're doing like a beef tenderloin thing, but yeah, other than that, I have no idea. So, yeah, still need to figure that out. But I will say we hosted Christmas last year for my parents, and obviously that's not like a big, huge hosting like event. Like, we're not hosting like a ton of family. We don't have any family that live by us, so that's really not even like a thing unless people want to travel here, which I'd be totally open for, but I know that's hard. Traveling is not easy these days. But we hosted my parents last year, and it was really fun. I feel like as an adult, like, or when you like first get into being an adult, and even where I'm at, I'm 29, so almost into my 30s, so you'd think I'd be like pretty adulting at this point, and I just feel so nervous hosting sometimes, like especially when it's adultier adults. If I'm hosting people my own age, it doesn't make me as nervous, but hosting people that are older than me makes me nervous because I don't feel like I am a good enough cook to cook for them, but I feel like a good enough cook to cook for people my own age. I don't know. If it happens to be your first time hosting this year, it could definitely be like nerve-wracking and all the things. So I think just like key things to remember is that the most important thing is just that you're gathering together and there's fellowship and you guys are in community. And so the biggest thing is just making people feel welcome in your home, and I think anything beyond that is just icing on the cake, right? Like, you don't need to have a super fancy home to show people hospitality. You don't need to have like the biggest, nicest everything, the most decor, all the things. I think again the key is to just open your doors and be welcoming. Now that doesn't mean just like your house can be a complete and total disaster. I mean, it can, but I still think like in order to make people feel welcome and comfortable in your home, like having them come into a clean space is obviously respectful and shows that you care about them being there and that you did your due diligence before they got there. But also just having like some sort of treat. It doesn't even have to be like a full-blown meal. If maybe you're hosting, you know, just like a coffee brunch or something, and you know, you could just have like a little baked goods and table or something, or like just like a couple little things to snack on, coffee and whatever you're gonna do. Or if you are doing like a full-blown Christmas dinner or something, like it doesn't have to be crazy fancy or whatever. My suggestion though, if you do plan on doing something really big like that, is to prep as much as you can ahead of time, because I remember last year on Christmas, and just like I know myself well enough now to know that by the time everybody gets there, if I'm having to like spend most of my time in the kitchen, even though like our kitchen is like open concept and like people can be hanging out and whatever, I don't want to spend all my time cooking when I would rather be socializing and just like hanging out. So I like to prep as much as I can ahead of time. So like chopping things that need to be chopped beforehand, or even like a couple days beforehand, you know, cutting things up, or if you can like pre-make dishes and then like stick them in the fridge for a day and then just bake it the next day, or freeze it for a couple days or something and then pull it out and cook it, you know, when it's actually time. All that stuff is super helpful. And I also find that like, because when I cook, I like a lot of time, unless I'm cooking something that I cook on a weekly basis, I need to think about what I'm doing. And so if there's like a lot of things going on, I'm more likely to mess it up if I, you know, because there's just like noise and people talking, and like I want to be talking and socializing. And so I just like to like do that stuff ahead of time. But another thing I was going to say is, if you plan far enough in advance, like, you know, okay, for Christmas dinner, I'm going to make this type of meat and these 3 sides or something, then maybe like up to that day, like instead of just making it, especially if it's a new recipe and you've never done it before, instead of making it for the first time for that meal, you make it ahead of time, like just for one of your weekly dinners that you're going to be doing for your own family. And you just test it out, so that 1, you've done it before, so it's a little bit more familiar to you, but 2, you can kind of like make sure that you actually like it and like how it turns out and all the things. It might be a little bit harder if you're doing like a nice piece of meat, like a prime rib or something, so maybe you won't get to practice on that as much, but I definitely feel like the side dishes you could practice ahead of time. So I would suggest planning your meal ahead of time so that you can like bake things ahead of time. I also feel like there's no shame in asking for help, or having people contribute to the meal if you want. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a full-blown potluck situation, but like, for example, my mom is hosting us for Thanksgiving, and so she's gonna do like the main meal and like, you know, the turkey and then like the sides and things, but you could have people bring like one side, or you could she's having my aunt, who's also going to be coming, is doing all the appetizers, so that way my mom can just focus on like the big main meal and she doesn't have to like worry about appetizers too. So that's another way to like let other people contribute, and people are usually happy to contribute. I mean, it is kind of the time of year where people like to spend time in their kitchen, so sometimes people like genuinely want to cook something. Maybe they don't want to like full-blown host, but they want to like contribute food because they like to make stuff. So I feel like you could just like separate it out like that. Somebody does the desserts, somebody does the appetizers, somebody does the main meal. That could be a way to go about it. And like, obviously for actual Christmas, we're doing like a nicer cut of meat that I have never personally cooked before, and so I will be asking my mother-in-law to help me because I don't want to mess it up, and I'm sure I will also be asking for help on the other things. I'm gonna try to like prep everything ahead of time and like do most of the other stuff on my own, because I feel like that's easy enough, but I'm like giving myself grace in this season because I am very pregnant, and like I don't like using that as an excuse of like, oh, I'm so pregnant, I can't do anything. That's usually not my attitude at all, but this time around is just different. I am so tired. And so I definitely think I'll be asking for help and just like trying to save the time. And also like, I think along with just prepping for that sake, I just know myself again enough to know that when actual Christmas comes along, Like, my kids are gonna have all this new fun stuff to play with, and like I would rather be sitting with them, watching them enjoy all their new toys and play with all their new stuff, instead of like just slaving away in the kitchen. So even though I enjoy cooking and I enjoy making food, like I would rather spending that time socializing and then like have stuff just prepped ahead of time, so I'm not having to spend like so much time focused on what I'm doing in the kitchen. But yeah, I feel like I'm just kind of winging this, so that's like really all I can think of off the top of my head. As far as like tips that I would give somebody who's hosting for the first time, promise you, people do not think about the same things you think about, or they're not focusing on the things that you're focusing on. I know that's easier said than done, and I know like you're probably thinking, I don't care, I'm still gonna clean all this stuff that nobody even looks at, and you know, wipe the baseboards and stuff, but and that's fine. But just remember, people don't care as much as you do about stuff like that. And so yeah, but I feel like that's really all I have for right now. I need to get up and put all these clothes away that I just folded, and go make my bed because I'm currently washing sheets. So yeah, that is going to be today's video for Vlogmas. Thanks so much for being here. Make sure that you subscribe to our channel. I am genuinely planning on focusing on our YouTube channel more in 2026, once this baby is born. So I am hoping that Vlogmas will give us a little bit of a boost, and then once the baby's here, I can like have a little bit more energy to put into this, because I really like long form content. I think it's fun to get to engage with you guys this way. So yeah, if you are somebody that likes homeschooling, homesteading, and homemaking content, then definitely hit that button and let me know what kind of videos you'd like to see in the future. Otherwise, I will see you in tomorrow's video. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.